Hi everyone, welcome back to the Always Believer Season 2. I'm not alone. No, I'm not. I'm with my very beautiful, very awesome, very kick-ass, badass co-host, Cassandra. Hi, Cassandra.
Hello, good morning. So excited to be here for the Always Believer season 2. This is like it's been phenomenal already and I can't wait to intro it with you.
Oh my goodness gracious. I'm very excited. As of today, we already have two episodes out. We had last week, it was like a really quick introduction that was so special to me that Monday's like, it's our first episode, it's 12 minutes long, and it was in a very like vulnerable, there you go, and very honest kind of moment that I recorded that. And then I have a birthday special, which is like super fun and super excited because I was like, this year I'm going to do something for my birthday with you guys, of course. But here we are officially starting the season basically. And I could not be any more excited and grateful and blessed. And, you're looking at me through the screen as you always are, of course, recording these. And I'm super tired face, but it's because I work so many hours and it's one of my biggest passions. It's one of my biggest like points of happiness. I'm so happy to be here, basically, and be able to do this and share these stories. Um, so we know you for a while. We've known you for a while, right? um, you were with us last season. Can you tell us a little bit more about that before we continue talking about the season?
Yes, first, happy birthday. I know
Thank
it's one
you.
more trip around the sun, and things are definitely looking up a lot more. It's the springtime. We came out of 2020, we're in 2021. It just feels a lot lighter, at least for me.
It does. I think it's been a very emotional month, and not because of my birthday. I just feel like we've all been feeling it. But other than that, I do agree. It feels lighter. I do see a lot of moving, changing positions, places, things happening. Projects are being made, which is amazing. So yes. Yes, 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 yes.
And I also have been going through some emotional things the past couple weeks, but yeah, it just feels really good to be in this space and be able to come over here and kind of like work on the positivity side. My name's Cassie. I just go by Cassie, and I was in episode 40 of the first season. And basically, my story is that I was in the military. I was a naval officer in the military for 10 years on active duty. I came out of the military in 2019. And just before the pandemic started, I was traveling in my van and I was driving down through South America, Central and South America, all the way to Uruguay. And I actually left South America from Buenos Aires and came back to the United States the first week of February. It was February 6th. And then um, I basically came back on the wave of a worldwide pandemic.
Indeed.
And I've been figuring out my life ever since. I consider myself a whip, which means work in progress. And it's the premise of Sophia Bush's podcast, where, yes, I do think that I've done a lot of accomplishments, but I'm literally always learning. I'm always reading new books, getting new perspectives, working on myself and working on my goals and my views as a leader in this world. And so I've been really fortunate that Ariadna asked me to come on to this second season because I've been able to interview people and get new perspectives that I've never had before, and just learn about some of the things that they take really seriously and hold really dear to their hearts, and then kind of like share that space with them and kind of get an understanding of that and even practice or try some of those things myself, which is so cool and just something that I didn't even realize that I wanted to be a part of until I was actually brought in and been able to sit down with these women and talk to them and men.
Exactly. We have men this season as well. I got in a few requests from men. They'd be like, "Hey, can I be on your show? Hey, can I be on your show?" And it's not like I wanted this podcast itself to be all women oriented by any means. I'm very open minded. There's room for literally anybody and everybody at the same time. It was just a big coincidence, and plus, we're gonna be cheering women on no matter what. But this season, we decided to bring men on for different reasons. You'll find out they have either asked to come on, or they're really specific, or they're part of a couple that you'll find out soon. So very excited for that as well. Going back to you, Cassie. But I call you Cassandra out of love in Spanish, as I know how much you
Oh,
like it,
yes.
of course. You love
Oh, no
Cassandra.
worries.
um, I'm super thankful. We got to give another shout out, as we always do, to Tom, wherever he is. Well, we know where he is in the world, probably Ireland, because we can't travel. But still, he used to travel a lot. We're hopefully soon, but still. Because he's the one who brought us together. And since then, we just hit it off. We started Motivational Mondays also for season 1. And Motivational Mondays is back for season 2. It really is. I'm super thankful to have you, because it's so nice to be able to share these stories also with somebody else and see it from that kind of perspective. And also because I know you and I know where your life was heading to, give or take, and what you were really like, what you love to do is actually, this is part of it. And I'm like, oh, like this is great, because I get to give you a little bit of what I do and you get a taste of it. And in life, you just never know. I think of going anywhere from, oh my goodness, what's her name? The woman who wrote Harry Potter. Um,
J.K. Rowling.
Thank you very much. She wrote them at 40 years old. I thought about Gary Vee, who started his business at 34 years old. So you really never know. Age is nothing but a number. And the fact that we get to share space, and like I get to do the Always Believer, and I get to have these stories and these powerful women and men just be in a very raw, honest space gives me so much joy. And like you said, it's like the area of positivity. I feel like we have to remember that a lot more. And I get asked all the time, why always believe, or why always believe? And you can check it out in my first season. You can check it out in many interviews. You can check it out in my About Me page. It's simply a sentence I've said ever since, as long as I can remember, that there's always something better for me out there, and I can always keep growing towards something. And this is what all this is about. Like, to remember that spark, to remember that positivity. And like, the world may bring you a lot of like rough and tumble moments. You just got to learn how to like continue riding that wave in the best possible light, and then that's what we're here for. And I adore this with all my heart. So I'm happy to have you. I'm so happy to have you. I know our guests are also happy to have you, and they're just like, oh my god, so much fun and cool. And we get to do Motivational Mondays. We have tons of quotes for y'all. Talking about Motivational Mondays, what's our first Motivational Monday? We have like a nice special episode, do we?
Oh, yes. Ariadna had the idea. So for our first Motivational Monday, it's not going to be one quote. It's going to be a series of questions off the cuff. So we're going to both answer some questions. Was it your friend that had the idea, that you got the idea from in Spanish?
No, kind of the opposite. I had that idea for one of my friends in Spanish. So with Deanna, that for those who are bilingual, who have heard Deanna from the first episode, from the first season, sorry, she's back again. And we talk much like you and me. We're friends. We talk a whole bunch of, we're all about reflecting and about growing and healing and going to therapy and all these beautiful things. And I'm like, oh my God, it will be so fun to bring you back. But because we already know what you do and what you've been doing, let's talk about like that reflective moment of what was 2020. Not going into very specific things of like COVID, of course, but just the pandemic and see that's in Spanish itself. Sorry, just the what we've learned, how we've grown, how we changed, kind of sort of deal. And then I was like, oh my God, this would be great in English. Oh my God, this is Cassandra. Because it's what we talk about all the time, not only as friends that we are, because we talk often, but also as like a motivational Monday kind of feel, kind of like, let's start deep. Because we always start deep. We always go deep here though.
And I'm really looking forward to this, because in the full spectrum of transparency, I definitely keep it very positive. And that's my outlook. Like, I'm an optimist at heart for sure. But yeah, I feel like even in all the positivity, there are moments of darkness. And I can spiral sometimes, like, and I try to always catch myself as I'm kind of falling, because I want to say, hey, like, what's the reasoning behind this? What are you doing right now? How do you focus on other things to get yourself out of these feelings and thoughts? And so that's why I love the Always Believer and the things that we do here and the things we talk about. But, a lot of the stories, um, there's a lot of, duality of people that have been in darkness that find light and probably are still dealing with some of that darkness through their whole lives. And, I think everyone as a human on this earth just has uh, that duality where they have some really good days and some really bad days. And so I also face that and I look at that, and then I want to bring this to a positive space. But just know that that's also there for me and for other people that I'm talking to as well.
I completely agree. I feel like being able to create a project like this, and I started from a blog, I keep saying 7 years ago, but I feel like 9 by now if I really do the math. Um, because time flies apparently. um, it's just a place where I can share my story and I can be myself. And if you know me and if you see me through Instagram specifically, I am makeup free, very messy hair. Um, I'm very myself. I have really bad days, I have really good days, and I'm going to share it all. And, maybe not 110%, obviously, because I still have a private life. But point being, it's like if there's something so special and magical about sharing your feelings online, because we can make it as real as we want it to be. And I feel like one of the things that we're probably going to touch on that special episode for the first Motivational Monday, it's that like we've gone from point A to point B from like Instagram or social media being a lot very fake, which sometimes it still is, to something a little bit more real. And that's what I always want to bring to the picture. And that's what you always want to bring to the picture as well. And another quote that I always have, another way of describing the Always Believer that you can always see in our IG profile is, it's the right balance of spreading positive thoughts that come from personal experiences. And it's literally through whatever darkness we may have, and we still do because we all grow. And I love what you said at the beginning, Cassandra, because you're like, oh, I'm still learning, I'm still growing, I'm a whip and whatnot. I'm like, yeah. And that's going to be continuous, not because we're, early 30s, we could be early 70s for all we know. And it's always going to be something because we're those kind of people. And that's what Team Flyer is. That's literally what, our community is. This group of people, which is gigantic by now, um, all inspiring, all healing, all coming from really personal struggles and personal experiences, and just seeing that positive outcome. So I'm always in awe.
And I just think it's very important that, yes, social media, it's a highlight reel over and over. But just as I've recently found out, like, I have seen someone do something really tragic online, and I'm just like, as much as I was shocked, there should be some realization that, like, no matter what people are putting out on social media, it's not always like what's really going on in them internally. So I just want to make this space like a safe space so that if people want to say what they're really feeling, please do that. Like, I want to say what I'm feeling. I don't want to have a highlight reel anymore. And I want to be more real every day. I mean, I think I am real, but I just want it to be literally Cassandra Hauser every day of the year.
Forever and never more. I know exactly who you're talking about, and actually I know I have one of her quotes thanks to Courtney, which we'll talk about Courtney because she also loved her. And you're talking about Lee, which I know, and she wrote a quote on her feed that I fell in love with that's specific for this topic. And as she said, the more we talk about these difficult feelings, especially on this platform, and she's talking about social media, especially IG, the more we normalize them. we talk about hard stuff here. We do. You're going to go through the episodes and you're going to feel all the feelings, and we're going to be crying on one episode and laughing at the end of that episode, probably because it's us. Um, we got to normalize things. I'm a big advocate of normalizing things. Because you and me in our episodes, Cassandra Mia, we don't really, we talk a lot about the quotes and we talk a lot about personal experiences, but we don't really do updates, I guess. Or I don't know how to explain this right now. I mean, this is as real as it could be. I do a lot, for example, like I have hypothyroidism. I gain a lot of weight, and not only because of COVID, but just in general. And I love the fact that we're finally normalizing thick girls, curvy girls. I'm not saying overweight like to an extreme, of course, we still have to be healthy, but still normalize those kind of women, much like myself. And if you see my TikToks, I am bold, like you see me. And I do this on purpose because that's for myself and for anyone else who ever feels that way about themselves. And hence why the Waste Believer kind of makes it all come together, because it's that safe space that, you know, hey, love, you're not alone. Reach out for help. And it goes from something as the way you look physically to the way you feel to an experience you've been through. We need to start normalizing these things. And much like you were saying, this is not a highlight reel. I my captions are very real. Sometimes it is a pretty picture of me, because why the F not? But the caption, you got to go a little bit beyond the picture. Um, and things like that. So I am, once again, I feel like the biggest word, I mean, if you know me, thankful is my middle name. If any single friend that knows me, my God, I am very thankful for not only what I created, of course, but the fact that we have such a strong, beautiful, wonderful community as well. I
Oh
feel like
yeah.
I just repeated myself, but it's true. Like I get really emotional when I talk about these projects, because I spent most of my time doing them and talking to these people. And now you get that opportunity as well, Cassandra. So like you get me now. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of every one of the episodes that I've recorded so far, I still have a couple more by the end of the season. But literally every time that I finish up the episode, I'm just like ready to go out into the world and just basically have a musical out there
I love
on the
that too.
street, like singing and dancing. And yeah, like I didn't really realize that I would, I don't know, I never did it before. So I didn't realize like, um, what it would be like. And then whenever I got to sit down and like actually talk about different people, different perspectives, where they're coming from, their backgrounds, everyone is so very different, but everyone has something to add. And then whenever we were always finishing up the episodes, it was always just like almost like clapping at the end. And, just, it was just, it always brightens my mood. So it's been really cool to be a part of that.
with with this, it just, once again, it makes me smile from ear to ear all the time. And one of my favorite things that I've seen is, well, I keep saying it, it's community. It's always going to be community, and be thankful for it. Um, I did a whopping 77 episodes the first season because I just rolled with it from January 15th to October 28th, 2020. We have a few episodes in Spanish. We have a few episodes in Spanish also this season, because of course. We did a lot of motivational Mondays. I had 3 months of specials, three guests all month long. And what's magical about everything, not only sharing these stories, and I'm already getting very emotional, of course, is I finished the season October 28th. A lot of things happened in my life, and I decided to start April for my birthday, something special, something unique, because you all been asking me for certain things. I'm like, I'm just gonna do it for my birthday. And then, we start the season obviously today and whatnot. We've gotten, I mean, I think I checked it late, very late last night, but I want to say over 25,000 listens. And within like the months of November to now, the listens just keep going up. And I'm so honored and blessed, and I'm getting freaking emotional. But it's true. Like, I just so happy because like it is my time, energy, and um love and passion, of course, doing all this. And the fact that it's so well received, and that people, it's doing something for somebody else. And you may have said it in our episodes, even if it's just one person, I'm happy with that because at least someone knows that they're going to be okay. And I think that's very important. Very, very important. Um, did I think I was going to get emotional? I should have seen it coming. It's me. I should have seen it coming.
Well, I mean, I agree with that completely because when you when I think about what am I doing on this earth and what am I trying to do by the time I leave this earth, I actually am not thinking, oh, I want to move thousands of people. I'm actually thinking, what small things can I do every day to impact one person just to change their perspective or to make a decision in positivity or just try something they would never have done. That's as simple as what I'm trying to do here.
Exactly. And a lot of the times it's also for you because a lot of times like you're recording or you listen to a story, you're posting something you're like, this is for me. I know I'm going to touch somebody else some way, somehow, because that's just what happens automatically. But you put a lot of that for you. And a lot of like my TikToks when it comes to like me in bikinis, and even though I have the body I have right now currently, it's like, dude, that's for me. That's how I know that I'm going to be okay. And I'm going to say F to like social standards and be like, yo, no, this is who I am right now. And this is how I have to love myself. And then just by showing up for yourself, it's incredible and crazy and freaking magical how you show up for so many other people one way or another. Um, I have, I guess, a couple more news, but before I tell you that, of course, and like promo codes, because we have so many surprises this season as well, and it's gone like so much bigger. Um, like I said, we went from 77 episodes, which was crazy, to now with your help, we still have a lot of episodes this season. Like you always get to see, you'll see Team Flyer thing at the end. We have, like I said, we have regular Go to Fly episodes every Wednesday. We have Motivational Mondays every Monday, hence the name Motivational Monday. Um, we have special monthly guests coming up. We have Mother's Day special, which is very dear to my heart. We have just guests from all over, as we always do. We really, really do, from all walks of life. Episodes in Spanish, and then we have a few surprises all along the way through that kind of as the season goes. If that wasn't enough, we have a promo code, and we also have giveaways this season, which, if you know me, I'm an avid book reader. I freaking adore books. I read as much as I can when I can. And I'm actually giving away some really great books this season of just like, here, let's just do this thing. But I want to talk to you also about Courtney and Bravely Beautiful. I keep saying blog, but I think she changed it recently. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so yeah, Courtney Burns, Bravely Beautiful blog. She's going to be on my highlights under all our highlights. Sorry for the always believer. She is, my goodness gracious. She was on her show the first season. She was, I feel like, episode. Oh goodness gracious! Now it's my turn to like remember. I want to say episode 6. I might be wrong, but one of her earliest episodes, Courtney Burns, and she shares her story. She shares her Go to Fly story very deeply and very morally. Yeah, it's episode 6. Perfect, thank you. And with Courtney, she shares a lot of her story, a lot of insight, much like Cassandra. Her Go to Fly story is very different, very emotional. And then through that, she's actually also an astrology reader, chart reader. She does monthly check-ins. She does your kids' chart. She does tarot reading. She does a lot of energy work. She does Reiki. I've known her for about over a year by now. We've known each other. We talk a lot as well. She's done my husband's chart, my birth chart. I mean, both our charts, my husband's and my birth chart. She's absolutely adorable and very real, very good vibes. And because she loves us so very, very much so, she's actually giving us a 10% discount in all her services. And the code is always believer 10. All the links and things like that, we're going to link it down below on like the IG version of this and like the footnotes, of course. So you're definitely going to find that. And it's also going to be on our highlights. So you can find her all season long. Both Cassandra and me will be reminding you here and there, of course, through the episodes. And it's wicked cool. Like, it's just an astrologer who really knows you. She knows her stuff. She absolutely vibes with you. She's super real. She records every episode as well, so you get to like rewatch it as many times as you like, and that's like wicked cool, I feel like, because not a lot of people do that. She reads a card for you as well, like at the end, and she has like a stone or like something or other. Super cool. And if you're into, birth chart readings and tarot and Reiki and things like that, like astrology, she's your girl, Courtney Burns, definitely. Oh my goodness. All right. So I want to say for last, I think moving on, I think my last two things, or I think my last thing actually. One of my favorite things in this world, apart from creating, of course, this wonderful podcast, blog, community, is being able to see my visions come to life. And this is a big one of them. Like, this is a big part of it, the podcast, as you already know, of course. But it's also having my merch out there. I love seeing my creations come to life and seeing other people like wear them or have them at home or things like that. Earlier this year, I created my own merch store line, merchandise, just whatever you want to call it, arredondo, basically. For now, it's through Redbubble. We're starting out small and steady as always. And we actually have one that I really adore. It's definitely for Team Flyer, and it says Team Flyer on it. And believe me when I tell you, like the design that you see, the pictures, the drawings that you see, it takes weeks to like make sure we get it right. I do have my designer, and I always give her a big shout out, Sammy, which also will tag her down below as well. Um, for you guys to get to my merch, to get to my Goodreads list, I just remembered because I love reading, and a lot of people ask me like, "What are you reading right now?" And it's on Goodreads because my husband and Cassandra have it, so they're like, "Get Goodreads." I'm like, "Okay." Um, Everything's linked on my link, literally on the Always Believer or Ariadna as well. Um, with my merch, you have Team Flyer, you have Shine Even Brighter, you have so many different quotes, and it goes from postcards to like baby clothes to like a folder to a backpack to a sweater, of course, and hoodies and t-shirts. Obviously, we always have plenty of those, and there's plenty more coming your way. Like, there's a lot of designs that we're still like doing right now, and I'm very, very excited for. So I'll always give you that kind of like heads up to go like check it out, please, and support small businesses. I mean, I think it's the best thing we can do. And wrapping it up, of course, because I've been talking a million miles a minute, because when am I not? I love that you guys listen. I love that my team flyer, our team flyer, is just there day in, day out, even when I was off season, even when I wasn't feeling my best. You guys still listened. Um, and I find that very incredible. As always, because we are a small business, because we do have merch and we do have all these sorts of things, like, comment, subscribe. I know it's very repetitive, but that's the way of life. If you love our podcast, if you like an episode, please leave reviews either in iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, even Libsyn, anywhere you can get your hands on. We're also on Google Podcasts, by the way. Anywhere you can get a hands on, please leave reviews as much as you can, because they help. They help. And if you like what you see, and if you like our energy, and if this is your vibe, then tell us, a comment, share, save, subscribe, share to a friend and say, hey, follow them, and so on and so forth, because every little bit goes a really, really long way.
Yeah, and because we have so many, we had, Ariadna had so many amazing people during season 1, but because we have so many people for season 2, and knowing some of the things that we have coming up, definitely subscribe so you're always informed of when the episodes come out, when they're ready to listen, and when you can go to the blog to take a look at that if you want more of the story in writing.
Exactly. I mean, like I said, every little thing counts. We're all about small businesses. Hence, I'm so excited for the merch because it's a big part of me that's going out into the world, and I have so many good projects coming ahead for that. But meanwhile, just a podcast review, a comment here and there, that follow, that subscribe means so much, because it means that everything we're doing is also working for a bigger, greater project. And like what Cassandra literally just said, our guests, the fact that we bring you, of course, but still, a guest every single week.
Ariana.
Like
Ariana, you bring the guests.
it's like I it's a one-woman show sometimes, but thankfully you have Cassandra with me this season, which keeps me a little bit saner if that's even possible. But point being, um, every single guest brings such an interesting, amazing, wonderful story. And it's not only for us, it's for them. If you like that person, go follow that person. If you like what you hear, once again, share. It's just, once again, it's something so small and it's free to do that we always kind of like encourage you because it helps us so much more, especially if you like what you see, not only with our podcast, just like in general, with any other podcast that you listen to or any other, IG personality or whatever you want to call them. Just, we're here, we do what we do because we love what we do, and we're very blessed to do what we do. And in order to continue to do what we do, that's a really great way to show support. So those were my last 2 cents, I feel like, for this lovely introduction episode with lots of information.
Yeah, and also one other thing to add, something I didn't really know about is like the link tree or campsite bio. But on Instagram, if you want to know more about anyone that we're talking to, almost everyone that I've checked like has a link tree, so they'll have their websites, more information. There's meditations. There's going to be just like a slew of different things that our guests provide for them, for their followers and clients. And then also like if you just want to learn more about them, you can easily go to their websites and just check out more information and contact them personally if you want. I mean, you can do that through the Always Believer, but if you want an in-depth thing, you can do it through their own personal links and their websites.
Exactly, and they're always going to be linked down below. We're always going to have a question for each and every episode. We want to hear from you a lot more. And even though I do see the listens, because I see the behind the scenes, of course, we want to hear directly from you and those comments and those stories, and that's what motivates us even a million times freaking more as well. Both do, because the listens are just, I'm just flabbergasted basically with all that. And I think one of the best things that happened also season 1, to wrap it up for last, is the amount of people that were like, hey, I listened to you on The Always Believer, or hey, I met you through Ariadna. And even though that's basically the same thing, basically, really makes my heart glow. And not only because this business means the world to me, but the fact that I love connecting people that way. And it's like, hey, and that means that's so nice for the guests because they came on the show, they took their time and their energy and their passion to be on our show. And all of a sudden be like, oh, I got recognized from there. And that's like really, really cool because, we put so much love and work and so on and so forth for all of this. So yeah, definitely that. Yay.
Very excited for season 2. Very excited.
Very excited, right? Me too. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being there. We're so, so, so grateful. Get ready to hear a lot of Cassandra this season, which we're very excited for. And just so many goodies coming your way. So stay tuned, subscribe. You know where we're at. We're at The Always Believer. You can follow my personal one, the Ariadna Redondo. It's literally linked in my bio. I'm The Always Believer. And so is Cassandra's as well. Cassie. What was yours again? Cassie Excursion. I always say it in Spanish for some reason.
Cassie Excursion. Yes, that's exactly it.
Exactly. I was like, Cassie Excursion. So yeah, Cassie Excursion in English, but still. Just come follow through, follow us. Our door's always open. And let's do this. Let's start season 2. Woohoo!
Perfecto.
All right. See you all soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Team Flyer.